So, ayun, hello everyone. I'm Mary Orchid and I'm excited to introduce you my team. First, we have Hustlers and ako po ay kabilang sa role na ito together with Joffrey Sawal. Next is we have the Hackers, Leslie Doy Laureta and Hubert Gabiola. And lastly, we have the Hipsters, Jade Ejercito and Rome de la Cruz. So, welcome to our presentation on technopreneurship and we're excited na mag-share sa inyo ng learnings mula sa aming i-discuss na topics today. So, mag-start tayo by looking at the basics of technopreneurship from Unit 1. So, now tingnan natin yung some key concepts in technopreneurship. First is technology. Technology may be defined in many ways, but for simplicity's sake, in relation to this subject, it is the use of scientific knowledge to give an easier solution to the problems within the society or a specific individual. So in simple terms, yung technology is the use of scientific knowledge para gumawa ng tools, machines, or any systems na makapagpapadali ng gawain natin at makakasolve ng problems natin. So for examples, nowadays, diba, parang kahit saan ka lumingon, meron ng smartphone na gamit yung mga tao. So, smartphone is a technology that helps us communicate. So, nakakatulong ito sa atin para makipag-communicate, especially sa family natin, friends, or anything related sa work or study natin. So, nakakapag-access tayo ng information ng mas madali at nakakapag-perform ito ng many functions ng more convenient at napapadali nito yung gawain natin gamit yung smartphone. Malaki yung tulong nito lalo na noong pandemic. Next is invention. In its pure sense is the creation of product, processes, or techniques which do not exist before. So basically, yung innovation daw is bagong idea, tools, or process na hindi nag-exist before. So for example, yung invention ni Thomas Edison, yung light bulb. So gumawa siya ng new way to light up homes and streets which was not possible before. Next is innovation. Innovation is the process of modifying invention to improve it or make it better. In short, invention and innovation are related but not identical. So innovation is improving or making changes sa isang bagay that already exists para mas mapaganda o mas maging better yung bagay na ito. For example, di ba yung first smartphone is an example of invention. So over time, yung mga kumpanya is nag-add ng features tulad ng better cameras, mas pinalinaw nila yung camera ng smartphones, faster processor, and naglalaki ang mga screen. So yun yung tinatawag natin innovation. Ginawa nilang more useful and appealing yung smartphone. And lastly, technopreneurship. It is very usual that if there's a new technology, it requires also a new business that would benefit from it. The process of launching and running a new business is called entrepreneurship. When that business uses high technology to deliver services to the consumer, that is technopreneurship. So, technopreneurship is starting and running a new business that uses advanced technology to provide products or services. So, for example, yung Uber. Yung Uber is gumagamit ng smartphone technology at GPS para mag-offer ng more convenient transportation service. So, instead na mag-abang ka ng taxi sa kalsada, you can use an app para makahanap ng masasakyan easily and quickly. So next, let's discuss an important concept in technopreneurship: understanding customer pain points and providing solutions. Let's define what customer pain points are. Ano nga ba ang pain points? A pain point is a specific problem that prospective customers of your business are experiencing. In other words, you can think of pain point as problems, plain and simple. A key component to marketing and business in general is understanding customer pain points and then delivering solutions to those pain points. However, a majority of marketers do not understand what pain points truly are, and instead, think that solutions are actually the pain point. So sa madaling salita, yung pain points are problems. So to succeed in business, it's crucial to understand these customer pain points and then deliver solutions to address them. Para mas maintindihan natin kung ano nga ba talaga ang pain points, magbigay tayo ng example. So, imaginein mo na nagpapatakbo ka ng isang delivery service. So, yung common pain point para sa customers might be long delivery times. So, the solution to this pain point could be offering faster delivery options or pwedeng real-time tracking para yung customers mo is informed about their orders. So now, let's move on sa visual representation ng concept na diniscuss ko kanina. So here is an image that illustrates the difference between a pain point and a solution. So in the previous sketch, a marketer will hear someone saying that they need a bandage. So the marketer will present them with a bandage. A great bandage, a bandage that stays on well but doesn't hurt when it's peeled off, a bandage that keeps out infection, a bandage with Olap from Frozen on it giving the wound a nice warm hug. But the bandage was just the solution, not the pain point. The actual pain point is that the person wants to stop their leg from bleeding. Understanding that as the pain point, the marketing of the solution becomes very different. The solution could still be the bandage, but it would be one that tightly pulls together the wound to stop the bleeding. It would be a bandage that sticks to skin even if the skin is wet with sweat. The new solution could also be medical glue that will stop the bleeding immediately. The key is that the solution should address the customer's true pain point. The marketing shouldn't be about the product, it should be about the alleviation of the pain point. So, si sketch, a marketer is told that someone needs a bandage. So, yung marketer is nag-offer ng high-quality bandage na may features na kapag nilagay mo, matagal itong mag-stay, and kapag niremove mo naman, pain-free ito or hindi masakit kapag tinanggal. However, the bandage itself is just a solution. So, the actual pain point here is that yung person na yun is gustong patigilin yung pagdurugo ng leg niya. So, kung naintindihan ng marketer yung pain point na to, they would focus sa solution na directly makaka-address ng pag-stop ng bleeding rather than just providing a bandage with extra features. So, in this case, solutions might include providing a bandage with advanced blood clotting technology and magsasuggest ng medical treatment or immediate first aid steps to control the bleeding. So this approach just target the actual pain point, stopping the bleeding rather than just offering a bandage with extra features. So the important point here is that the solution should address the customer's true pain point instead of focusing solely on the product features. So marketing should highlight how the product or service relieves the actual problem. So now let's explore how understanding true pain points can drive innovation. The myth of Henry Ford saying, "If I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses," still holds a very important lesson in it. It's not a quote about ignoring customer feedback. It's about getting the root pain points customers have. In this quote, the pain point has nothing to do with horses or cars. The pain point is that people want to get from one place to another quickly and efficiently, but people see the only solution to that is being faster horses. So in this case, the pain point is hindi tungkol sa horses or cars. The real pain point is the need for a faster and more efficient way to travel from one place to another. So yung mga tao, iniisip nila na the only solution is yung faster horses. So Ford's innovation was realizing that cars could better solve this problem, even if people hadn't imagined it yet. For example, yung customers is kailangan ng fastest way para mag-travel. So yung iniisip lang nila is yung faster horses. But by understanding that the real issue is just getting to their destination quickly, Ford innovation with cars to provide a better solution. If you understand the underlying pain points your customers have, your approach to innovation completely changes. The way you speak to your audience changes. You don't hype a solution, but rather call out how the solution alleviates the pain point. So this understanding shifts the way we communicate with our audience rather than hyping up or mas dinadagdagan natin yung features na ating product. mas mabuti na i-highlight natin kung paano natin masusolusyonan yung pain point. So yung approach na ito is makakatulong to connect more deeply sa ating customer and makakapag-build ng tiwala because maipapakita natin or maipapakita mo genuinely na naiintindihan mo yung needs nila. So now tingnan naman natin how we can identify customer pain points more effectively. Identifying pain points. Customers experience pain in many ways but oftentimes they don't know how to tell you what that pain truly is. So they ask for a solution. One way to get a customer pain point is to ask open-ended questions and follow up. So, sa example natin dito, from Theodore Levitt in the sketch above, if someone walks into a hardware store looking for a 1/4 drill bit, their pain point isn't that they need a 1/4 bit. Their pain point is that they need a 1/4 hole. Don't ask them what kind of features they want in a drill bit. Ask them what they want the drill bit for. As the expert, you'll then know what to prescribe to them. So imagine yung customer mo is nangangailangan ng 1/4 drill bit. So instead na mag-offer ka ng iba't ibang drill bit, you should ask, what are you using the drill bit for? Kung sasabihin nila na kailangan nila ng 1/4 na size ng butas or hole para sa pag-install ng shelf, pwede kang mag-recommend ng isang drill bit na tumutugma sa needs nila. Or kaya naman mag-suggest ka ng alternative tools na suited sa kanilang project.
Good day everyone! For now, we will discussing our Unit 2 which is the customer segments. So, before we start our customer segments topic, we should answer the question, what is a customer? A customer is a person who pays for a price or purchase of the product for services of a certain producer or business. Ang customer po, sila po ang bumibili ng mga products from our companies, businesses, and hindi naman po lahat ng customers ay sila po ang end users. But what is end users? Based on our slide, end users is a person who consumes or uses the goods for a services. For example po, sabi po dito sa slides, the diapers. Ang commonly pong bumibili ng diapers, parents. And ang end users po, ang mga taong gagamit ng diapers ay babies or mostly yung mga adults po na bedridden. And second po, yung ventilator, ang bumibili naman po niyan ay yung hospital and yung patients po yung nanginabang ng mga ventilators. And for third one, business softwares, binibili po siya ng company para po sa mga kanyang employees. And the engagement ring, mostly po bumibili po talaga niyan ang mga lalaki at binibigay po nila ito sa mga babaeng gusto nilang pakasalan. Cars, dito naman po sa cars, masasabi po natin hindi po lahat na customer ay siya din yung end users. Kaya po, sabi po dito sa car, the owner is the end user din po. And the dog food, lastly, dog food. Ang bumibili po sa dog food ay yung mga tao din po, which is the owner. Hindi naman po pwedeng kainin ng owner ang dog food, kaya po dogs ang kakain ng dog food. For our next slide, we will tackle about what is the stakeholder. So, stakeholder is a party that has an interest in a company that can either affect or be affected by the business. So, in short po, ang mga stakeholders po ay affected ng performance ng company. At dahil po sa mga stake ng company, masasabi po ang high and lows ng company. Ang example po ng mga stakeholders ng isang kumpanya ay ang kanyang mga employees, partners, shareholders, investors, and suppliers. Sila po yung may interest sa company na pwede maka-affect ng business ng company. For our next slide, we will tackle about the types of the stakeholders. There are two types of the stakeholders of a company. The first one is the internal stakeholders, which is employees, manager, owners. And there are 6 external stakeholders, which is the supplier, society, government, creditors, shareholders and customers. For our next slide, what is the role of an influencer? An influencer is someone who has the power to affect of the purchasing decisions of a someone because of his or own authority, knowledge, position, or relationship with his or her own audience. So nowadays, makikita po natin sa mga Facebook pages, TikTok accounts, Lazada, Shopee, may mga nagla-live po at nakikita po natin yung mga product reviews nila, kung paano nila gamitin yung product, at dahil po doon, nasi-sales talk po tayong nanonood sa kanila. So, kaya po tayo nai-influence na bumili po ng mga product na binabenta po nila kasi po ay alam po natin or kilala po natin sila na nakita po natin sa ating mga mata na umepekto po sa kanila yung products. Commonly pong nakikita po natin yung mga product na yun as beauty products, mga gamit sa kusina, kutsilyo, pangluto, kawali, mga gamit pang mekaniko like mga tools, lagare, martilyo, at kung iba't iba pa. Pwede din pong i-encourage po tayo ng mga tito-tita po natin na plantita at plantito na bumili po ng mga paso or iba't ibang fertilizers, at sila po yung nag-encourage sa atin na bumili ng product na yon kasi po subok po nila at sigurado po sila na magugustuhan din po natin yung products na yon. Kaya kung wala po ang influencers sa ating society, hindi po makakabenta ang mga tao na nasa laylayan ng lipunan. For our next slide, customer segments. Customer segments is a different group of person or people or organization with enterprise aims to reach or serve. Bakit po meron tayong customer segments? Ang customer segments po ay nakakatulong sa mga companies na malaman nila kung ano ba yung mga kailangan ng mga tao para makapagbenta sila ng products. At mababase po nila yon sa paglaman kung ano yung mga common na gusto ng mga taong yun, kung ano yung age nila, yung gender, kung married ba sila or hindi, kung magkano ba yung income nila, at nalalaman po nila doon kung ilan po yung bumibili ng products at kung kailan po bumibili yung mga taong yun ng products. So, kaya po meron po tayong mga products na minsan lang din natin makita dahil sa winter lang po siya nabibili or sa summer. And next, what are the types of customer segments? We have 5 types of customer segments. These are the mass market, na segmented, diversified, multi-sided. Tulad na lang po ngayon na ang Jollibee at McDo po ay nagkakaroon po sila ng iba't ibang ideas para po ma-encourage yung mga tao na bumili ng product nila. Especially po ngayon po na nauuso po ang mga K-pop at ang McDo naman po ay nakaisip dati ng isang meal na papatok sa mga BTS fan. Ito po yun, yung BTS meal. At ngayon naman po ay nakapag-isip naman po ng bagong franchise ng products ang Jollibee, which is the Jollibee Bini Meal, at meron po siya mga photo cards na kasama, which is ngayon po sa mga millennials ay sobrang mabenta po dahil po sa mga iniidolo po nila ang mga taong nandito sa products na kanilang binebenta. Dahil po sa customer segments ay na-identify po natin kung ano po ba yung mga tao or sino-sino po ba yung mga tao na willing pong bumili or kumagat dun sa mga product na ibebenta po natin.
Now, sa part na ito, tatalakayin naman natin kung ano-ano ba ang types of customer segments. Una-una dito ay ang mass market. Sumunod naman ay niche market, segment, diversified, and multi-sided platform. Unang types ng customer segments ay ang mass market. Ngayon, sa tingin nyo, ano nga ba ang mass market? Ang mass market is a product and services which is target the segment have a broad appeal and often cover all the population. Sinasabi dito na ang mass market ay isang produkto at serbisyo na kung saan ay nakakapagbenta sa lahat ng tao, hindi lamang sa isang individual ang may kayang bumili nito, hindi sa isang grupo o kahit na sino. In reality, there are few companies that do this. Most companies apply some level of segmentation. Totoo naman, hindi lahat ay gumagamit ng mass market upang makapagbenta at mapalawak ang negosyo. Ang mass market din ay nag-i-aim sa pagpapadami ng customer sa isang market, kagaya na lamang ng kumpanya ng soda na Coca-Cola. Alam naman natin na ang Coca-Cola ay isa sa mga palaging iniinom ng isang individual o madaming tao na kahit anong oras ay nakakabili sila. Dito, ang pinopoint lang dito na ang mass market ay tinuturing silang pagkakapantay-pantay na kung sino may gustong bumili ay makakabili ng isang produkto. Ang mass market din ay hindi bumabase kung mayaman ka o mahirap. Basta nagpo-focus sila na mapadami ang customer. Meron tayong tinatawag na mga key feature of mass market product. Meron tayong mass production, widespread availability, and mass media advertising. Unahin natin sa mass production. Ang mass production ay sa pagkakaroon ng iba't ibang factories hindi lamang sa isang lugar o bansa kundi kalat sa buong mundo para sila makabenta ng madami. Pangalawang key feature of mass market product ay ang widespread availability. Ang widespread availability ay kung saan ang pagpapalawak ng isang produkto na naibibenta na karamihan ay ang mga retailers na meron silang stock na hindi lang binibenta sa atin o sa isang bansa kundi pwede rin sa iba gamit ang online. Ang panghuling key feature ng mass market product ay ang mass media advertising. Alam naman natin na pag sinabi nating advertising, ito ay nagpapakita o nang-iinganyo ng isang produkto. Dito naman, ang mass media advertising ay nag-i-aim siya para mapalawak ang variety of customer using mass media channel gaya na lamang ng radio, newspaper, and TV. Napapalawak nila ang produkto at napapadami ang customer. The second type of customer segment are niche market. Ano nga ba ang niche market? Sinasabi dito na ang niche market refers to a specific customer segment with high definition characteristic o parang a group of people looking for a specific product. Example dito ay ang baby's product. Alam naman natin na pag sinabi natin baby's product, ito ay may iba-iba pang kapaloob sa produkto. Gaya na lamang ng baby's diaper, yon madalas na kailangan ng mga tao, o baby's shoes, clothes, o iba pa. Sinasabi dito na ang niche market ay nagre-refer siya sa kung ano ang pinaka-specific na target ng customer. Sabi din dito, this segment requires a highly tailored product costume made to suit their needs. Yun nga, gaya na sabi ko, yung pinaka-pangangailangan nila. Therefore, the value of proposition, channels, ads, customer relationship are tight defined by the reference of this particular customer segment. Now, we will talk about segment. Ano nga ba ang segment? Some business models distinguish between market segment with slightly different needs and problems. Sinasabi dito na ang segment daw ay kung ano yung role of small different groups. Gaya na lamang na meron tayong tinatawag na producer, sila yung taga-produce ng product. Meron tayong supplier kung sino yung kumukuha at nagpapakalat ng produkto. At meron tayong consumer kung sino ang pinaka nagbebenta sa mga customer. Halimbawa na dito, ang retail arm of bank like Credit Suisse, for example, may distinguish between a large group of customers. Ayan, sinasabi merong isang malaking grupo ng customer na each possessing on asset up to $100,000 and smaller group affluent clients each whose net worth exceed $500,000. Dito sinasabi na magkaparehong segment have a similarities but varying needs and problems. May pinagkaiba pa din. Kumbaga, pinagbubukod nga sila. Yun yung segment. Kinalabasan ng pagbubukod. Kung ano ang role nila, ang needs, ang kailangan, at ang kanilang ginagawa. Now, diversified. Diversified, a business that decide to have a take diversified approach to customer segmentation. Will select a wide range of customer groups and very different needs. Ang diversified ay kung saan ang isang kumpanya ay may produkto na kung saan habang tumatagal ay nadadagdagan at dumadami dahil sa pangangailangan ng tao. Sabi nga dito na ang diversified ay tinatarget kung ano ang iba't ibang kailangan ng isang customer. Example na dito, ang Apple. Ang Apple, nag-release siya ng produkto na iPhone noong 2007. Kasunod dito, nag-release na rin siya ng iPad na kung saan kinagigiliwan at gustong-gusto ng mga tao. Ang iPad ay isang uri ng parang MP3 na kung saan ay napapakinggan ng music. Pagkatapos nito, nag-release na din sila na katulad ng iPad. Sumunod na dito ang MacBook. Sumunod na ang Apple Watch na kung saan easy to access. Habang tumatagal, mas lalo nagbabago ang technology. Kaya mas maraming demand ang mga tao at ang kanilang mga gusto. Hanggang sa nagkaroon na rin ng Apple TV. Sinasabi din dito na ang diversified ay hindi sila nagpo-focus lang sa isang produkto na kailangan na iyon lang nila maibenta. Kailangan pa rin nila ng pangangailangan ng mga tao. Sabi nga din don't put all your eggs in one basket. Multi-site platforms or multi-site market. Some organization na kailangan ng maka-attract na hindi lang isa, dalawa o maraming customer ng magkakaibang site o kung papaano sila mahihikayat. Gaya na lamang ng ibang mga kumpanya na gumagamit sila ng iba't ibang connection katulad ng pag-a-advertise sa YouTube. Nagkakaroon tayo ng ads. Nakikita natin kung ano ba ang katangian ng isang produkto na yon, kung ano kagandahan nun. Minsan naman, merong mga kumpanya na nagbabayad sa mga vlogger na kung saan i-endorse mo din nila ang isang produkto. Ang pinaka-point lang dito ay pinapalawak nila ang kanilang connection para dumami o kumalat ang pagkakakilala sa kanilang produkto at manghikayat ng maraming customer. What is market segmentation? Maraming nalilito kung ano ang segment at market segmentation. Lagi niyong tatandaan guys, ang market segmentation is the process. Siya ang proseso of dividing the target customer segment into a smaller, more precise cluster. While the segment naman is the result of dividing the target customer segment. Yun ang pinagkaiba nila. Ang pinaka-point dito na ang market segmentation is a process kung paano hati-hatiin o i-divide. While yung segment is the result of dividing the target of customer segment.
Type of market segmentation: demographic segmentation, psychographic segmentation, behavioral segmentation, geographic segmentation. Punta muna tayo sa demographic segmentation. This is one of the most popular and common used types of market segmentation. It refers to statistical data about a group of people. Example nito, age, gender, kung magkano yung kita nila, annual income, source of income, kung saan nanggagaling yung income nila, occupation, education, ethnicity, Punta naman tayo sa pangalawang klase ng market segmentation. Ito yung psychographic segmentation. Psychographic segmentation categorize audience and customer by factors that relate to their personalities and characteristics. Examples are personality, values, attitudes, interests, lifestyle, motivation, priorities. Behavioral segmentation. While demographic and psychographic segmentation focus on who a customer is, behavioral segmentation focus on how the customer acts on products. Example nito, purchasing habits, spending habits, brand interactions. Geographical segmentation. Geographical segmentation, ito na yung pinakauli. This is the simplest type of market segmentation. It categorizes customer based on geographic location. Example na ito, country, province, city, barangay, street, radius around a certain location, klima or climate sa English, urban or rural. Is it important to be informed first of the benefits they would get upon buying a product or services from an enterprise? Or no need for that since every buyer obviously knows the purpose of what they are buying?
Okay, bago tayo mag-umpisa at bago tayo patuloy sa ating lesson, ating muna pag-usapan ng mga kilalang mga tao na nagbigay ng mga thoughts nila about sa business. One, this is Stuart Henderson Britt, which is said, doing business without advertising is like picking at your in the dark. You know what you're doing, but nobody else does. Ayun yan, sabi nga doon na tama daw na halimbawa, ginagawa without advertising talaga namang hindi makikilala ang business. Hindi mo siya pinapakilala in public or post in social media before. Tapos sabi na dito ni Milan Kundera na business has only two function, marketing and innovation. Ayun nga, di ba? Paano mo ba ang papalago yung ating business, di ba? Kung walang marketing and innovation. Sabi naman ni Lea Burnett, make it simple, make it memorable, make it inviting to look at, make it fun to read. Ayun nga, yung parang nakahikayat ng mga tao. Sa makikita pa lang nila. Tapos sabi naman dito ni Bill Gates, the internet becoming the town square for global village of tomorrow. Ayun nga, diba? Alam naman natin ang town square ay kilalang lugar sa isang bansa. At dahil nga rin daw, sabi ni Bill Gates na ayun ang magiging global village for tomorrow. Now, let's proceed to Unit 3, the value proposition. What is a value proposition? Value proposition is a simple statement that summarizes why a customer would choose your product or service and communicates the clearest benefit that customer receive by giving you their business. Value proposition can be represented as business or marketing statement that a company uses to summarize why a customer should buy a product or use of service. Ayun yan, para siyang ads. Ibig sabihin lang na ito yung naging bago nga pati tatarangalikin ng mga customer yung product mo or business mo. Ito yung kung mapapaganda baksan ito, kung ano yung benefits na makukuha nila sa product or business mo.
Dito naman po tatalakayan natin kung gaano ka-importante ang value proposition. Your business value proposition is arguably the most important element of overall marketing messaging. The value proposition tells prospect why they should do business with you rather than your competitors and makes the benefits of your product or service crystal clear from the outset. Sinasabi po dito sa value proposition, isa daw to sa pinakamahalagang elemento para sa marketing messaging mo. Tapos kung bakit sa'yo makikipag-business kaysa sa iba mong kakompetensya. Ito naman po, the value proposition definition in layman's term. The value proposition pertains to be the benefits that customer would get upon buying a product as a promise by the company who owns it. It is actually statements which serve as a window for the customer to see clearly a certain brands or could offer and its advantages over other competitors. And it for to be clearly seen by customers, this is where advertisement comes into play. The value proposition definition by layman's term. Dito po yung sinasabi kung ano yung benefits na makukuha nila pag binili yung produkto na pinramis ng kumpanya na nagmamayari nun. Tapos sinasabi din daw po dito kung ano yung ma-offer nilang advantages kaysa sa ibang kompetensya nila. Para daw po maliwanagan yung mga customer na makita kung ano ibibili nila, dito na po yung papasok yung advertisement. Yung mga lumalabas po sa YouTube na kung ano-anong mga ads, yun na po yung advertisement. Tapos sinasabi din daw po dito na kapag binili nila yung produkto na yon, ano yung magiging advantages mo kaysa dun sa ibang product o kakompetensya nila na product. The value proposition. Historical background. The phrase value proposition is credited to Michael Lanning and Edward Michaels, who first used the term in 1988 staff paper for consulting firm McKinsey & Co. In the paper, which was titled "A Business is a Value Delivery System," the authors defined value proposition as a clear, simple statement of the benefits, both tangible and intangible, that the company will provide, along with the approximate price it will change each customer segment for those benefits. The value proposition. Tangible and intangible benefits. Tangible benefits are those can be measured in financial terms, while intangible benefits cannot be qualified directly in economic terms. These benefits include customer satisfaction. So dito makikita natin yung tangible and intangible benefits, project benefits. Tangible benefits: increase revenue, resource cost savings, hardware cost savings, software cost savings, productivity gain, process improvements. Sa intangible naman, enhance user experience, increase customer satisfaction, increase compliance, brand equality. So dito makakita tayo ng quote na nakalagay na "No one ever got rich working 9 to 5." Ito naman yung yung quote ni Warren Buffett na "Risk come from not knowing what you're doing." Sabi dito, magkakaroon lang ng risk kapag hindi mo alam ang iyong mga ginagawa. Kaya dapat yung mga diniscuss natin alam nyo para iwas din sa risk.